भगवान श्री योगी रामसूरतकुमार की
जय।
सर्वं योगी रामसूरतकुमारार्पणमस्तु। We offer our grateful pranams once again for this evening session of Nama Sankirtan. It could happen only by the grace of Bhagwan. Now again, today we shall see one or two drops from the ocean of his Leelas, his Kripa. As he said yesterday, there was a time we would gather in the breakfast hut, and after the offering to Bhagwan, the devotees who had come on that particular day would gather there, and we would exchange stories, the Leelas of Bhagwan. Each one had something very nice, a very happy event. And we were feeling so happy talking about Bhagwan, knowing how he came to rescue in different ways, in different circumstances to different people. A very happy occasion every day. Like I said yesterday, after Palraj, Sri Venkatesan from Chennai started to talk. He had a very interesting story, an episode to tell us. She said when he was living in Mangad, on the first floor of his house, a yoga class was going on. One Ramesh Babu was the yoga master. He was also employed in Padma Seshadri school as yoga master. And after some time, he was coming, Venkatesan was coming to the ashram, and he took Vibhuti Prasad. And almost for 1 year, Sri Ramesh Babu was inquiring Venkatesan about Bhagwan, would also receive this Vibhuti Prasad from him. Soon after that, there was a new arrival in their family, a granddaughter to Ramesh Babu. But she was a premature baby. She was born after 6 months, only 6 months. So she had to be kept in an incubator for 3 more months. But then the child's parents, some of the family members began to live in the hospital with the child. And then our Ramesh Babu had developed faith in Bhagwan by then. He would take this Vibhuti Prasad every day to the hospital, and then he would try to put it on the child, but then those people around would not let him, those medical people. So he would insist and put it on top of the box, praying to Bhagwan. In those 3 months, everything developed, because in the incubator, any premature baby runs the risk of underdeveloped lungs, underdeveloped immunity system, and then even the skin. And the nervous system, they could all be underdeveloped, so that the body temperature had to be regulated well, and the required food must be given to the child. It was quite a care, and the child was growing, and every day, Ramesh Babu was taking Vibhuti from Yogi Ramsuratkumar Bhagwan, given by Venkatesan. And after 3 months, 37 weeks, the child had developed all these functions very well. It became a normal child, to the happiness of the parents and the doctors around. And of course, Ramesh Babu knew it was the magic of Bhagwan's Prasad. So his faith strengthened. And after that, he even came to the ashram, and for the sake of the child, he did Pada Puja also. And just before Venkatesan came to the breakfast hut, just 2 days before, he had a phone call from Ramesh Babu. This Ramesh Babu yoga master was teaching yoga according to Vedatri Maharishi. I believe in the yoga class, they would say that one should worship the formless Parabrahman, and the Guru worship, the idol worship, was not permitted. But then Ramesh Babu's faith was growing fast, and just 2 days before Venkatesan came to the ashram, when he received the call from Ramesh Babu, Venkatesan used what Vedadri Maharishi devotees would say, Bhalga Valamudan, a greeting to each other, meaning live well, wishing the well-being of the other person. So when he wished him that, Ramesh Babu said, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Now it was Venkatesan's turn to be surprised. He said, what are you saying, sir? You used to say, wish you well And then now this time it's changed. You have changed it to Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jai Guru Raya. Then with this Vedatri Maharishi's student, this yoga master, Ramesh Babu said, Ayya, sir, what do you think? Yogi Ramsuratkumar is none other than the Parabrahman, the Param that we are talking about in the yoga class. This is what I have found out. He is so powerful. His Nama is infused with tremendous power, sir. I have had experience. He is playing games with me. He is playing his leelas with me. And I am quite enjoying myself. And then he said there was a very important document he had brought from school and put it in a cover in a certain place in the house. And the day he wanted it, when he went there, it was missing. He felt terrible, and then the whole lot of them at home started searching for the document. They searched and searched. They ransacked the whole place for nearly 2 hours, but they could not find it. And because he was busy with the search, Ramesh Babu forgot Yogi Ramsuratkumar. It's only after 2 hours of futile search, he remembered suddenly the name Yogi Ramsuratkumar. Immediately, he went and stood before the photograph given by Venkatesan, and then with folded hands, he said, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jai Guru Raya, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jai Guru Raya, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jai Guru Raya, 5 times, only 5 times. And after that, he came, he started to search again, and wonder of wonders, he found the document where he ransacked. Just minutes before, he was looking there, the whole family was searching. They could not see it, but now after chanting the name Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jai Guru Raya 5 times, he immediately spotted it. It was there where they ransacked and they could not find, and suddenly they found it there, exactly where they searched for it. What a miracle. How could this have happened? It was as though somebody had placed it there. We do not know what really happened. It could be that it was there even before and somehow they could not get to see it, but after chanting Yogi Ramsuratkumar Nama, it suddenly became visible to them. Whatever it was, he knew immediately it is the power of the name Yogi Ramsuratkumar that did the magic. They were all surprised, delighted. And so Ramesh Babu said, whatever greeting it is that we have developed in our group, it certainly refers to Yogi Ramsuratkumar as Param. He is the Supreme. Param means Supreme. Yogi Ramsuratkumar is Supreme, and he is helping me so much. So you see, when Venkatesan was wishing Valga Valamudan, the way the Vedatri group used to wish each other, Vedatri Maharishi's student Ramesh Babu was wishing him Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jai Guru Raya. He found out that chanting the name Yogi Ramsuratkumar kept us all, kept our well-being. And Venkatesan, after that, he narrated another incident, very interesting. Only Yogi Ramsuratkumar could have done that. He said his son Vishnu was working in TCS. That is Tata Consultancies. And they were living at the time in Mogaper. Mogaper is a place, it's an area in Chennai. They were living there, and this boy Vishnu had joined TCS company, and he had to travel 55 kilometers every day. It's one way, 55 kilometers. So he would take his two-wheeler up to a certain point called Maduravayil, keep it there on rent, and then he would take a bus up to a place called Vandalur, and then from Vandalur to another place, Kenambakam, by a van. And then from Kenambakam, he would take an auto rickshaw shared by people. It's called a shared auto in Chennai. So he would go by an auto, sharing it with so many people, up to the company. Now that particular day, after working in the company, when he returned in the evening, he came up to Maduravayil where he had kept his two-wheeler, and to his dismay, he found the keys missing, the key of the two-wheelers. Immediately he rang up to his father to say, "Please bring the other key. I have lost this key." His helmet was there. If there is no key, it had to be broken, open. So immediately his father, Venkatesan, he rushed on his bike up to this place, but in his hurry, Venkatesan forgot to take his son's two-wheelers, the other key. Instead, he took his own key, the key of his own bike. It's only after reaching there, he found out that in the hurry, he had forgotten to bring that. Then after that, okay, so they left the two-wheeler there itself for another night. And then the father drove the son back home. Vishnu was so devoted, he is still devoted. At the time, he used to, as soon as he came back from the company, he would remove his clothes, pant, shirt and all that, wore a dhoti, and he would sit before the picture of Bhagwan and start talking, as he would talk to a friend or a father. He would be talking to Bhagwan's picture. This was his habit. So that day, he was very upset. He kept on telling his father, Venkatesan, "Father, why would this happen to me? Bhagwan has helped me so many times. What did I do to deserve this? Why would this happen to me? Losing the key. If I don't get it, I do not know where I lost it. If I do not get it, I have to break the helmet open. Why would Bhagwan do this to me?" Then Venkatesan said, "Okay, you used to sit and talk, you sit there and ask Bhagwan." So this boy sat before Bhagwan, he kept on talking to Bhagwan, more than the usual time. And next day morning, his father took him on his bike up to Maduravayil, where he had left the two-wheelers. And then he pushed off further, first by a bus and then by a van. When he came to Kenambakam, the van came and stopped. And just opposite the place where it stopped, there was an ATM, a provision where you could draw money from the bank. Suddenly he felt that he had to take money, and usually he would take money only from ATM in his company. The company premises had an ATM, so he always drew money from there. But that day, suddenly it struck him to take money from this ATM. So when he got down from the van and went there, he found a long queue and he joined it. He became very restless because it was getting late for his office. So he even thought of coming away, but then something prevented him from coming. And then the thought came to him, anyway, I have stood in the queue a little more time, let me finish this job and go. So he went inside, drew the money that he wanted, and when he came out, the two share autos which used to come, they had all left because it was late. But then suddenly one share auto appeared. It came round and stopped. Immediately he ran and took a seat there. But the driver said, see, there are so many other people getting in, and therefore there's a seat next to me, the driver's seat. You sit there because you are young. The other people would be old and might be fat also, so you better sit here. So Venkatesan, Vishnu, without saying anything, he sat next to the driver. And soon the auto was full and they needed one more place. Then the driver requested Vishnu, young man, see the tank there, you sit on the tank. Will you? Once again, Vishnu, without saying anything, he just sat on the tank. And then suddenly his eyes fell upon a small place where the driver used to keep some coins. And there, his key was shining. Immediately, he spotted it, he knew it was his. And then he remembered this was the share auto he was traveling in the previous day. He said, driver, that is my key. The driver said, oh, you see, somebody had left it here in the auto. I didn't know what to do, how to find out the owner. Then I just put it here. If that is yours, you take it. Vishnu was so happy. He never imagined in the wildest of dreams that he would be able to find this key ever again, because he could have left it in the van, he could have left it in any one of the autos. And how to find that particular auto? And he was not even sure he left it in the auto. But then here, it was the same auto, and the man had come without his expectation. Because he was late, he was able to get into this auto. He did not know it was the same auto. And now he found his key. Immediately, as soon as he came to the company, he rang up to his father and said, Bhagwan has given back the key to me. Bhagwan did not let me down. He gave the very unusual circumstances led to this finding of the key. It's Bhagwan, it's pure magic of Bhagwan. Imagine, why would it strike Vishnu to go to the ATM at Kenambakam? He had never been there because always, whenever he wanted money, he would go to the ATM inside his company. But that day, why did it strike him to stop there? And then, when he became restless because it was getting late for the office, suddenly a thought came that he would, no matter what, he would get the money and then go. What made him decide that he would go ahead and get the money, even if it became late for going to the office? At every level, when you look back, you see that at every level, after praying to Bhagwan, suppose you lose something, and then you pray to Bhagwan, and after your prayer, whatever happens is well designed, and it is designed for the result that you asked for. This is what we see in this case. At every level, the miracle had happened. And imagine when he came out late from the ATM, the same auto, the share auto, was coming round. Had he gone earlier, he would not have been able to find this auto at all. He would have missed out on the key again. But then, Bhagwan was directing his every move. So the boy's faith paid him well, and he was very, very happy. So this whole story, Venkatesan said, only Yogi Ramsuratkumar could have done it. There's no way, after all this travel, 55 kilometers travel by different vehicles, that he should get back his key. Impossible otherwise. Now again, people may think that it's very worldly, and then they call it a miracle, this and that. But it is. It is a miracle. It may be very worldly, but at the time, Vishnu was very upset. His misery was genuine. He really felt the loss of the key, and he wanted it very badly for his own reasons. God gives you whatever you want. So then this Venkatesan came to the ashram and said, Amma, not only this, I have been telling my friends, so many other friends also, about Bhagwan. I tell them his nama, I give them his photograph, and they all get what they want from Bhagwan. But when I want something, it gets delayed. Why? He was smiling, he was laughing. He was saying, Amma, why is that all my friends get their wishes done, whereas it doesn't work for me? It gets delayed and delayed. Then I explained to him that the grace works in three ways. That Bhagwan sometimes, especially in the beginning, when people get introduced to the name, they start chanting fervently. So at the beginning it works immediately. God gives you. God says yes, and then He gives you immediately what you want. But sometimes after that, He will say no, and may not give you what you want. But then you are not getting it will prove to be a blessing. So He is giving you His blessing, a blessing that would work for you. So sometimes He says no and gives you something better than what you asked for. Sometimes He will not say yes or no. He will make you wait. But at the end of the wait, however long it is, you will get the best from Him, unasked. This is the way grace works, because the grace must also give you transformation. We need inner transformation. Not only we need things for our outer life, we need inner transformation as well. So grace works in different ways. So sometimes things get delayed for us. So whatever it is, we know that when you look back, this world may be called Maya. It's an illusion, okay. But then everything works only in a certain manner. Even if you want to switch on the light, you have to find the right switch. If you press the switch adjacent to it, the light will not burn. If you press a switch in the next room, it will not burn. And even if you press the right switch, if there is no electricity, the bulb will still not burn. So you see, there is a manner in which things work. And all these details, even in worldly life, are very meticulously worked out. And you have to go about it meticulously to get a certain result. So even if you call it Maya, at every step of this meticulous design, you require grace. And grace is permanent. Things may not be permanent. You are wanting it or not wanting it. Maybe not permanent, but the grace that helps you is permanent, and it connects you to God permanently. And so it's a great blessing. It strengthens your faith. It makes you chant His name more and more. And then you begin to realize you can't do a thing without grace. And grace becomes the basis of your life. This is how we are hooked. We are hooked by God. Because every adversity turns us towards God, pushes you towards God. And so your kinship with God will become stronger and stronger. So these miracles are absolutely necessary for our worldly life, for a permanent kinship with God. Now this Bhagwan, who works out every detail, all the way through, so meticulously, for you to get what you want, is here right in front of us. There is nothing that He cannot do.